Hey everybody, this is Felisa. This is going to be an entry into Spotlight Sunday where I highlight cases of the missing, lost, and endangered. Today's case is going to be on Akia Shanta Eggleston. Much of the information that I'll be presenting today will come from the charlieproject.org as well as some other news sources that I have been able to locate. If you are able to visit charlieproject.org and if you have the financial means to do so, please consider giving a financial contribution to the site administrator as she does a yeoman's job in putting together cases of the missing, lost, and endangered. Akia Shanta Eggleston has been missing since May 3rd, 2017 from Baltimore, Maryland. Her classification is endangered missing. Her date of birth is listed as 9/6/1994. She would be 25 years old today. At the time that she went missing, she was 22 years old, approximately 4'8" to 4'11", 130 to 145 pounds. She was last seen wearing a green shirt, a black jacket with gray sleeves, black and white yoga pants, and black sneakers. At the time that she went missing, she was 8 months pregnant with a boy at the time of her disappearance. It was considered a high-risk pregnancy and the baby was breached. She was supposed to be on bed rest and was going to have a scheduled cesarean section. Her distinguishing characteristics are as follows. She is listed as a African American female, black hair, brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. She has a tattoo of cherries on her left shoulder blade and a tattoo of building blocks and the name Emory on her upper left arm. Details of her disappearance are as follows. Akia was last seen in Baltimore, Maryland on May 3rd, 2017. She went to the bank that day and withdrew over $500 in cash, which was an unusual amount for her. The bank was 3 miles from her apartment in the 600 block of Cherry Crest Road. Inside the bank was the last time anyone saw her, and she's never been heard from again. She was reported missing on May 7th after she did not arrive at her baby shower. When her family checked her apartment, everything was gone except her bed. The bedroom dresser was gone, as were all of her clothing. It looked as though she had moved out, but her family questioned her physical ability to do so given her high-risk pregnancy. They stated that she could barely even walk. Her family didn't learn the identity of her unborn baby's father until after her disappearance. He is a friend of the family. Although her family hadn't heard that she planned to move in with the man and still doesn't believe that they were actually dating each other, Akia's best friend stated that she did in fact plan to move in with her unborn son's father. She said that she planned to be out of her apartment by May 10th. No one has come forward and said that they helped her move out of her apartment, but police think that she must have had some assistance. She was close to her stepfather, aunt, and grandmother. Her mother had died of cancer years earlier. She has a daughter from a prior relationship and stayed active during her pregnancy in spite of her doctor's orders that she stay in bed. She had placed a $900 deposit for her baby shower. Foul play is suspected in Akia's case. Her family doesn't believe that she would have just walked away and abandoned her 2-year-old daughter, especially so late in her pregnancy. Authorities have interviewed her unborn son's father, but haven't named any suspects in her disappearance. Her case remains unsolved. I did look for some additional information. I'm going to play a clip for you from The View that was recorded January 31st, 2019, and this was of her father talking about Akia's case. So take a listen to this.
Sean Wilkinson, and the co-founders of the Black Lincoln Foundation, Jericho Wilson and Natalie Wilson. Welcome, and thank you. Now, Sean, it's been 2 years since your daughter, Akia, disappeared, and you've been fighting to get information about where she could be. How are you doing? How is the family doing? And how is Akia's daughter doing?
We're all doing the best we can, keeping our faith in God that someone will provide information to find her. The family as a whole is broken. We're in shambles, trying to live day to day, really, just trying to figure out where our loved one is and hoping and praying that someone will come forth with information.
And you're looking for 2 people. You
Absolutely.
remind people all the time.
We're looking for Akia, who was a beautiful young lady, and her son, baby boy Eggleston. So we are looking for 2 people, not just 1.
So now you get this call that your daughter has not come to this shower that she has been planning and putting all kinds of stuff together. So give me the rundown. You get a call from...
Her grandmother called me about 2 days after she was... the rape shop was on a Sunday.
Right.
Her grandmother called me on 2 days after, which was a Tuesday, and she told me that a kid was missing, and I was at work, so I had to jump up and run out from the office and to speak to her, and since then it's just been a downhill struggle.
So we have a gap here where no one knows what's going on, and you're not aware that something's wrong.
Right. It was actually a 4-day gap before she was actually reported missing.
Really? Okay.
Sean, Akia was last seen taking money out of a bank, and then she vanished without a trace. The Baltimore police said that they searched her apartment, which she had shared with a roommate. What did they find in her apartment?
Well, first things first, about the bank, I want to put out there that there's a story out there that she went to several banks. She did not go to several banks. That was a miscommunication upon the Baltimore Police Department. They have not yet renounced that statement, but that is the absolute truth about that. And as far as what they found in her apartment, they did find some more belongings were missing, but as far as anyone's concerned, they had not reported what was missing. I guess they maybe wanted to hold that information in case it may be something that they can use for a case against someone.
And my understanding, it was furniture that was missing, but she was obviously 37 weeks pregnant, so someone that pregnant couldn't move.
No, she was 8 months pregnant, breached, high-risk baby. She could barely walk. She was on bed rest. She wasn't working. Most of the things that were being done for her were being done by friends and family. So she was absolutely, in a sense, useless to do anything for that matter.
And she was planning this baby shower. Would she have missed this baby shower?
Not a chance. She brought a dress. Her girlfriends were going to take her out to get her hair and stuff done. But after May 3rd and the last communications with her grandmother, there was no interactions with anybody.
But no videotape from the apartment? No, nothing. What about the roommate?
Yeah.
Well, the videotape there's no videotape because the community didn't have any around where she lived at. And as far as the roommate, I have not been told what the police disclosed from that interview with the roommates.
Sean, the father of Akia's baby is not technically a person of interest, but has he been helpful to you?
0. He has not provided any information. He will not call me. He will not talk to me. I've reached out to him just to talk to him on a personal level. But again, he has not talked to me. And I've even been told by the police not to even interact with him.
Well, where is he? Do you know where he is?
We do not know where he's at. The police say they know, but I don't know.
So Derek, I mean...
So, you guys, that was a clip of Sean Wilkinson, who is Akia's father, speaking on The View. I did have, I was a little confused because I did see this interview and I was trying to piece that together with what I was finding in some of the news articles and what was reported on Charlie Project. It felt like there was a gap between Akia missing her baby shower and ultimately being reported missing. But now that I'm going back and I'm listening to the conversation and reading the articles, there may not have been necessarily a gap in terms of her being reported missing. It may have been a gap in terms of her father actually being consulted and told that she was missing. I wasn't able to find ultimately who made the report to the police, and I really guess that that's neither here nor there. But a couple of things just really stick out to me. I just planned a baby shower for, my grand Alan, his son, my son, and my daughter-in-law last year. And so I was in constant communication and contact with everybody concerned, from, the caterers to the people who were baking the cake and, providing some of the favors and, some of my girlfriends. So it would have been highly unusual for me to just have radio silence. And, perhaps that would have alerted someone. So in Akia's case, particularly since she was planning her own baby shower and she was the guest of honor, and further, she was on bed rest, and so she wasn't supposed to be ambulating at all. For her to drop off the grid, I think that he just mentioned that she hadn't been heard from since the 3rd. Her baby shower wasn't until the 7th, so that's 4 whole days that no one has heard from her, and that would seem to be unusual. And then I wonder, what was the time frame given by this roommate for her supposedly moving out of the apartment? You can't just, you have a roommate. You don't just move, someone's entire life. And you don't notice that, and you don't know who came and did what. So she or he should have been able to give a complete and accurate description of who came and moved Akia's things, and was Akia involved at all with this moving. And then her bed was left behind. I guess that's not necessarily unusual. If she moved in with someone and they already had a bed, I could see perhaps that she would leave that one particular thing behind. But the most unusual and glaring issue for this whole case is that she did not show up for her baby shower, and she'd placed a deposit. It was $900, which is not an insignificant amount of money, and it was a deposit, so she would have had to pay the balance upon the arrival or the completion of the baby shower. So, this was a significant investment. But beyond that, even if it wasn't, everyone was saying that she was very happy about welcoming a son. And, she seemed to be a very responsible young lady, a wonderful mother. And so, there was nothing in her history, immediate or otherwise, that would suggest that she would, just walk off, and not just walk off at 8 months pregnant, but walk off 8 months pregnant, high risk, and leave behind a 2-year-old daughter. That just doesn't seem, like that is, I guess it's possible, but it just does not seem plausible to me. So, I do, of course, have a suspicion that unfortunately she met with some type of foul play. And then dad is saying that, the father of the child wasn't even known to the family until after the fact. And even when he was made known, there had been no attempt to reach out. You have a whole entire person that disappears with, your unborn, and, you don't have the wherewithal or the thought to reach out to the family at all, for whatever reason, even if it's just out of concern. So, that's a bit odd to me. I guess I could play devil's advocate and say, well, he didn't have a relationship with them to begin with. He wasn't even known to the family. So Akia was keeping him secret, or, keeping his identity hidden for a reason. So, it seems as though that she may have been a very private person. And if that's the case, it would have, served at cross purposes for her. I do want to make sure that I read this statement, since I played the clip from Sean Eggleston for Akia's case. I want to make sure that I give fair time to a statement that the Baltimore Police Department released following his appearance on The View. And it says, "Our homicide detectives have devoted literally thousands of man hours to this case. About a dozen detectives have been involved at some point in the investigation, in addition to about a half dozen FBI agents. We have also received assistance from the Baltimore State's Attorney's Office and the U.S. Attorney's Office. To date, among other things, a dozen search warrants and/or subpoenas have been executed. Approximately 100 interviews have been conducted, and dogs and divers have been used in numerous searches. As far as keeping in touch with Akia's family, the lieutenant in charge of our cold case squad has personally met with Akia's father 4 times and spoken with him on the phone another 6 or so times. Akia's father has also met with a major in charge of our homicide unit, as well as the prosecutor assigned to the case. We have given him as much information as we can without jeopardizing the integrity of the investigation. Outside of Akia's friends and family members, nobody wants this case to be solved more than the members of the Baltimore Police Department, and we will keep working until the job is done. The View's co-host Sonny Hostin read Sean Wilkinson, and I apologize, I did mistake that his last name was Eggleston. I believe that he is her stepfather. But one of the co-hosts of The View, Sonny Hostin, read Mr. Wilkinson a portion of the police department's statement, and he did acknowledge that the police department have a challenging job first and foremost, but their level of communication is not to the expectations of any family. And to be fair, the Baltimore Police Department did release a statement in defense, I'm assuming, of some of the allegations that were cited and raised in this particular interview. There was a lead-in to his interview, which I did not play for you guys, but you guys can Google it, and it's readily available on YouTube. But there was a lead-in from another reporter where it was alleged that the family had called the Baltimore PD to check on the status of Akia's case, and they alleged that nobody knew what they were talking about. And then Mr. Wilkinson did say that he has had a difficult time with communication with the PD. Now, as a parent, obviously I've not gone through anything as traumatic as this. And I'm exceedingly grateful of that, and I acknowledge that. But I do know that there have been times where my children have been in, situations, either a hospital or, something is going on, and I'm desperate for information. And so, my presentation to them is as if I am their only client, or, my children are their only patients, or, whatever the case may be. And I do think that that's natural. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but I can see how they would want, this open line of communication and not really be cognizant of the fact that there are thousands of other cases that are being worked on simultaneously, probably, from cold cases to cases that are happening, to cases that haven't even happened yet, that they will have to fit into their schedule. So I do want to give a fair balance to that. Nevertheless, no matter what the case is, the family feels that they have not received the communication and the level of interaction that they would really like in terms of Akia's case. And the Baltimore PD has stressed that they have been as responsive and responsible as they can be, without compromising the case. And in the middle of all of that, there is a woman who has gone missing 2 years ago at 8 months pregnant. And as her father so eloquently stated, there are two people that they are looking for, not just one. So, they are looking for Akia and her unborn son, or who would now, be a toddler. If you have any information on this case or have any details to add in terms of the whereabouts of Akia, please contact the Baltimore Police Department at 443-984-7385. No matter what the case is, there is a family that is missing two people, two loved ones, a little boy and their daughter. And then there is a little girl who has been without her mother for 2 years. And it is time to bring Akia home. Y'all be blessed.